I know we've only known each other for 4 weeks and 3 days, but to me, it seems like 9 weeks and 5 days.
All right. Welcome, all my garden enthusiasts and passionate plant people. Welcome to the Let's Get Growing Show, the Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing Show here on the Urban Gardener channel. I'm Enoch. I'm your host today. And today we got a really great show ahead for you today. In fact, we had scheduled to be on the show both Christopher Brandsdal, our good friend from Norway, and Khang Starr today, but looks like Khang's not going to be able to make it with us today. So hopefully here in just a little bit later on in the show, we'll have a great conversation with our friend Christopher Brandsdal and see what he's got growing all the way up in those mountains of Norway. So hopefully he'll be on with us here in just a little bit later as well. Too, we have our good friend Paul from Guten Gardening doing our In the Garden segment coming up also here in just a few minutes. But here at the top of the show, let's also go ahead and remind you all, if you're here with us, we do have our, oh, wait a minute, I got to take that off. We do have our roll call coming up. Roll call happening here in just a few minutes as well. So definitely drop into the chat if you're here with us. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're growing from, what you got growing on in your garden, and we'll give you a nice shout out here in just a few minutes here on our roll call segment coming up. And also, if you can, let's go ahead and click the like button, hit that thumbs up, as well as subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified of all of our upcoming shows here on the Urban Gardener channel, as well as share with all of your friends. Let them know about our show and all the great, awesome guests that we get to visit and talk gardening with here each and every weekend. In fact, that's right. We are your 3-day gardening talk weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show here normally at our regular times each and every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. But now we're also here for our third show each and every 3-day weekend ending on Monday evening with our new show, The Green Room, and our good friend Natalie from The Fresh Princess as our co-host. We've got some great shows coming up. Stay tuned just a little bit later on, and we'll talk all about who we got coming up tomorrow evening on The Green Room. And definitely big, huge shout out to all of you who are watching our replay right now. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us on your time. It's great to have you here with us. And just like all those folks who are jumping in the chat right now for our roll call segment coming up, drop into the comments here on this show and let us know where you're growing from, what you've got growing on in your garden, or just drop by and say hello. I love to see all of your comments here on our show. So definitely looking forward to hearing from you. And again, if you are here on with us live here at the show, definitely drop into the conversation here with everybody else. It's one of the fun things about this show is not only getting to have this great conversation with all these awesome gardeners that we have here on the show, but it's also getting to see all of your comments, all of your guys' conversation with each other in the chat as well too. We have a really great community here on the show. It's great to see y'all here. So definitely join in the chat. Let us know you're here. And again, it's great to have you here. Also, questions. Love to see questions from all of you as well too. It's a great way to take part in our conversation with our guests. So definitely drop in some questions and we can get those answered here just a little bit later on when we get our guest with us on the show here too. So, and follow all the links down below in the description to our guests and go check out something that they've got growing on their channels or their pages. Find a video or a post or something, and go let them know that you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show. So right on, everybody. Great to have you all here with us today. I don't know if you're noticing, I keep having to look over here because I have a main screen over here that I could usually see things from and do everything while I'm looking towards the camera, but right now it's not working, and I got to keep looking over here at the screen. So I apologize about that, but yeah, definitely grateful to have you all here with us today for the show. And again, lots and lots growing on around here. I was showing everybody yesterday, if you see the very opening clip that we do for the Saturday show, I was kind of showing everybody one of my garden beds. We've got some onions growing there. I'm getting ready to plant out some other things in these beds, clearing things out, getting things going. We had a really, really warm week this last week, and tried to take advantage of as much of that good weather as possible to get caught up on some of my garden chores and all of that. But I think that every time that I go to try to take something off of the list that I need to get done, other things just keep getting added to the bottom of the list, and it just keeps growing and growing. But we are getting a lot done out there, though, and hopefully we'll have some really great garden spaces. It's after winter, and again too, I've been running these winter breaks basically from the whole. I had not done anything out there, so there's a lot of stuff that I need to be getting going. And again, with all this warm weather, there's weeds and new weeds popping up everywhere. It's just, it looks like it's all growing, and tons of stuff are growing everywhere, but it's just a bunch of weeds and things and all sorts of stuff that I need to clear out from last season and all of that stuff too as well. So lots going on out there. We do got a bunch of garden starts. I've got a bunch that are growing here indoors. And as we start moving closer to our last frost date, in fact, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm gonna take a little risk this year, I think, and I'm gonna try to get some things out just a little bit earlier than normal for some stuff too, so that hopefully, again, tomatoes, big one for me is I've got to try to get those out as early as possible so I can get the best growth out of my plants before we start hitting the summer season. And with this warm weather that we're seeing this early, I mean, we set records, and I know people are setting records right now, heat records all over the country, especially here in the Southwest, setting records for temperatures right now in March. We did here in my area as well. And with all of that, that just kind of gives me the idea that, man, summer is coming before we know it. Now, it doesn't mean that some things can't happen. It doesn't mean, I mean, we had a late frost and freeze last season, but I think somewhere by mid-April, everything was just warm, and I could have planted out at that time last year, even with that late frost and freeze. With things so warm now, I think I'm just going to take the gamble, and I'm going to start getting things out about mid-April versus the mid-May, which is where our last frost date is for my area here. So hopefully we'll be able to do that without any troubles coming afterwards. You know, it is kind of a risk, but as long as we can get out there, if some potential frost or something comes up, then we can get out there and do something to cover the plants, protect them over that sort of period of time that frost is going to be present. Then we can we can mitigate any sort of damages or things that might happen to our plants. But I definitely want to try to get in and get a good head start on those sort of plants, because again, the heat will start coming. It seems like, it's the first weekend of spring right now, right? It's the first weekend of spring. We're welcoming spring, but as we saw last year as well too, even with our late frost, it was like a switch flipped in mid-April, and summer was already upon us. So that's, again, I'm just kind of looking to maybe even it might even be earlier than that's flip switch, or that switch flips for us again this year. So hopefully we'll get some things out there. Everything will be fine, and get a good head start on our summer garden. But yeah, can't wait to get some things growing. It's always nice to see those tomato plants grow, and the pepper plants are coming up. We're going to get those out. I got a different strategy that I'm going to be working on for our pepper plants coming up as well too. I'll talk about that at another time, but But yeah, lots going on. Really appreciate all of you being here with us today. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and jump on in and see who's all with us here. It's time for roll call.
My name is Kevin. Yeah. That is my name. Yeah. They call me Kevin. Yeah. Because that's my name. Roll call.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you all here. And as I said, I gotta look over this way here in order to see what we got going on with our comments here. But let's go ahead and start off our roll call with our good friend Jay, the J-Bot, joining us, our facilitator, producer here on the Let's Get Growing show. Keep an eye out for links and information and all of that coming from Jay there in the chat as she facilitates the show today. We also got our friend David from Bowtie Life in the Garden joining with us here. Triple G greetings, global gardeners from the Emerald Coast of Florida. He says it'll be 72 degrees for their high and 63 degrees for their low. I mean, that's another thing though too for here. We've got some really, really warm temperatures, but man, it's still cooling down pretty cool. In fact, it was really cool in the living room here where we got where we got our little studio set up this morning. So that's why I got my sweater on today. It's a little chilly in here. So still got some cool overnights going on for sure. I see we got Sean the gardener with us, joining us, watching from Cornwall, UK. Thank you so much, Sean. It's great to see you here in our chat with us. Meg's Edible Landscape also here with us too, joining us from Minnesota. 70s yesterday and 37 currently. Look at the fluctuations. It's just amazing. Like I said, so warm here, so cold overnight. Other places are seeing really warm days one day, really cold days the next day. Just that time of year, that's for sure. Sean says, I've got onions, carrots, ranunculus, dahlias, shallots, and leeks. Awesome. And we got our good friend Paul. We'll be seeing him in just a minute here on our In the Garden segment coming up here. Thank you, Paul. Always great to see you here with us on the show. Dusty Flats joining with us here as well, too. And says it was a cooker at 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Hope this spring is cooler. Yeah, I know. Like I said, it could just turn right to summer for some of us. We might even just skip right over spring. I'm not even sure, but we'll just have to wait and see, right? And Robin from Robin Gardens joining with us as well too, here from Chicagoland, and says it's chilly and gray over there. We got Janet McDonald joining us as well too. Good to see you, Janet. It's great to have you here with us. And Nope, joining with us as well, too. Joining us from Las Vegas here again. May hit 100 this week. I know, again, massive temperatures, triple digits for some places in the Southwest, Southern California, Arizona, Nevada, places like that. It's just really amazing to be seeing those types of temperatures here in March. Wild, huh? Dusty Flats joining with us too. Said started a bunch of difficult flower seeds in a bag method yesterday. Disappointed in the Patterson seeds from local seed supplier. Okay. Second year, and I guess I need to go. Okay, yeah, that could be the case. Sometimes some seeds from some places are not as good as where they are from other places, and that kind of changes from year to year, kind of depending on different seed harvests that these seed companies are relying on for sure. Shooting the soil, and good to see you here with us today. Thank you for being here on the show. So awesome to have you here. We got Adam, our other moderator, in the chat here as well too, joining us from Central Point, Oregon, just right up the road from me here. And excellent. Let's see here. Also, Shooting the Soil says, doing well, excited for the season. Just started some sugar snap peas today. Awesome. Gotta have those peas. Woo! All right, excellent. What a fantastic name to see in our chat with us today. Now, I just may let everybody know, Nancy is probably one of the OG subscribers to the Urban Gardener channel. Probably one of the first subscribers to the Urban Gardener channel. Nancy's been with me for this whole garden adventure for this whole time. And it is really wonderful to see you here with us today. And if anybody remembers our Saturday trivia segment that Sarah used to do for us, Nancy's Sarah's mom. And it's really great to have you here with us, Nancy. And you tell Sarah hi from all of us here at the Let's Get Growing show. We sure do miss her around here for sure. Also, we've got Rebel Ruth joining with us here from Texas. Awesome to see you, Ruth. It's great to have you here with us. And also, we got Habitual Hobbies in the chat as well, too. Thank you. 90 degrees Fahrenheit in Missouri. Really, 90 degrees Fahrenheit in Missouri for today. Garden season is basically here. Wow. 90 in Missouri in March. Wow. Like I said, these temperatures are wild going on all around the country right now. Just amazing. And also just amazing to have all of you here with us today. Thank you so much for jumping in and letting us know you're here for our roll call. And if you didn't get your name called out or shout out here for our roll call, definitely let us know you're here and where you're growing from and all of that. And we just might feature you throughout the show here, as well as all of your questions and comments. And I really do appreciate all that you do contribute to our show. Excellent. So right on, everybody. So again, really great to have you here. It's great to also have our good friend Paul from Guten Gardening for our In the Garden segment. So I hope you all enjoy.
Well, hello, Let's Get Growing community. I hope everyone has had a fantastic month. We have had a really strange, well, I don't know, it's Wisconsin, so I don't know how strange it is, but we've had a month where temperatures have been in the 50s. Today it's going to be in the 70s here. But just last weekend we had some pretty large amounts of snow. If you were actually part of that snowstorm, if you were somewhere where you got hit by that snow, you should comment about that in the chat today. But anyway, the week before that, I was able to record a video where I talked a little bit about what I consider to be the myth of the green thumb. And that's the video I have for you today. I hope you enjoy. I am so excited to be outside. Who knows how long this warmer streak is going to last. I think the next couple of days here in Zone 5, Wisconsin, even though it's the beginning of March, we're supposed to have temperatures in the 50s and 60s. We actually got a ton of rain today, so it is a soggy mess out here, but it's warm enough that I can actually film this video outside, and it feels great to be outside. And today I have something important to talk about, and I will tell you that I think maybe this is an appropriate time to talk about this because everything out here, for the most part, looks completely dead. In today's video, I want to talk about the dangers of the myth of the green thumb. You see what I mean when I say everything looks dead? I've got a pile of water here. It just stopped raining, and so this water, it's so saturated, the soil here is so saturated that it hasn't even sunk down through these containers that I've often grown potatoes, sweet potatoes in. But that's not a problem. I do have a lot of cleaning up to do out here, but I thought about this topic. I thought about how on a recent YouTube video I was listening to, somebody talked about how, well, they just don't have a green thumb unlike some of the other people that they know. And so, you know, we'll leave that up to the person with the green thumb. And I thought to myself, how does a person come to a determination that they don't have a green thumb, that they don't have the ability to grow whatever it is that they're trying to grow? Doubt there's going to be any of our garlic shining through just yet. No, it's still nice and frozen down here. These beds are filled with garlic from Keen Organics. Keen garlic. I can't wait to see how these turn out. So I guess I want to start by asking you this question. If you've ever been of that mindset where you think you have the opposite of a green thumb. I've heard it called a brown thumb simply because you kill all the plants and they turn brown. But I'm wondering what leads us to that moment. I think it probably has something to do with a failure, a repeated failure, maybe even of just a singular crop a few times. Now for me, that's a really interesting idea, and to a degree, I suppose, understandable. You can see some birds have been roosting in here. We've got some bird droppings. Must have been a nest up here in our grapes. But I've been thinking about this and thinking about how I don't really want to continue to spread that idea that some people are naturally or inherently good at growing things and other people aren't. Because I think there's actually far more to it than just, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this. Actually, it might be more about, I don't know how to do this, than it is about, I can't do this. Because I don't think gardening is like athletics where some people seem predisposed to being more athletic in some way. See the stalks here of some kale that we left out here. The rabbits have been chewing on it. You can see all the rabbit droppings around here. That is not a bad thing to have in your garden. See, I think there are so many things that go into being able to garden, whether we're talking about fruits and vegetables or plants. I think there's so many things that go into this that are far beyond just even the seeds that you're starting. I mean, that is a starting point for sure, where some people have poor quality seeds, seeds that are older maybe, getting lower germination rates. I've got seeds that I've started, some of them didn't germinate, and so I know that that's not going to force me to give up, but I think that that might be a starting point for some people where a single failure or a failure of a couple of times leads to a belief that they can't grow, and then basically the cessation of an entire, we call it a gardening career. You can actually see I'm coming from the side for this green stalk in my front yard space. It's tilted. It's the Leaning Tower of green stuff. And the reason it's tilted is we've had so much rain that the base, even though it's on bricks, the base has started to sag. So I'm going to have to take care of this. I'm going to have to straighten this out once everything dries out a little bit. So in my mind, I want to think about two pieces. I want to think about the elements of language here. I want to think about what we think for ourselves, what we say for ourselves. You know, if you are somebody who grows fruits, vegetables, plants well, in all likelihood, it's because you had somebody earlier on teaching you the ways, helping you to understand the best way to care for your plants, helping you to understand how closely you need to examine, pay attention to the growing process. And so much like a musician, a piano player, somebody who plays the violin really well, understand that that has only happened through experience, through practice. And so if you're somebody who would traditionally be known as somebody who has a green thumb, and you've understood over time how plants develop, how to best care for plants, how to best help them succeed and grow, then I think there's a responsibility there to share that element with other people. And what I mean by that is to share not, hey, look at this thing that I've grown, look how amazing it is, without also trying your best to assist other people to understand how you did it. Now, I'm not trying to put excess responsibility on other people, other than to try to say, we as gardeners have gone through successes and failures, so we have an understanding as to what it takes to get something, to get that end product. And we'll still have failures. But the difference between us and someone who thinks they don't have a green thumb at all is that we've decided not to give up. We've worked on the craft. We've tried to get better at the craft. For those of you who don't believe that you have the ability to grow plants, then I'm going to encourage you to think about it a little bit differently. Regardless of the frustration you've experienced in the past, there are other people out there who do grow it well. And it's not because they have some magical talent. Maybe they have better soil than you. Maybe they have a better background knowledge base than you. So rather than giving up, rather than sitting there saying, this is what I can't do, see what you can learn from other people and keep experimenting. Rather than saying, I can't grow this stuff, boy, When it comes to succulents, I struggle mightily to keep them alive. That's a fact. But rather than sitting there in myself and saying, I can't do this, I'm going to try my best to think about it a little bit differently. I don't yet know the best method to care for this, and I'm going to allow that hopefully to pique my curiosity a little bit. And so I have a challenge in today's video, and this challenge goes out to those of you who are practice seasoned gardeners and those of you who are averse maybe because of previous experiences in the garden. And the challenge is quite simple. If you're good at growing something, try to share a little bit of that knowledge with somebody who might be a little bit interested. And if you're somebody who struggles with multiple crops, a singular crop, do your best this year to research, find some experts, and learn their ways. I tell this to my students a lot at school. I sometimes bring up a topic and I'll ask my students if they've heard of this thing or if they know why this thing is true. For example, recently I said, do you know why it's typically windier in the afternoon than it is in the morning? And then I didn't tell them the answer, because what I wanted to have happen was a bit of a piqued curiosity. I wanted them to seek it out. Well, I'm going to encourage those of you who don't believe that you are the strongest gardeners to let your curiosity be piqued, because there are lots of people out there with a lot of knowledge. When it comes to growing garlic, I've sought out some of the experts. When it comes to growing potatoes, I've sought out some of the experts so that I can improve my craft, my yields, and my gardening experience. Now, please don't let this video make you feel bad about anything that you may have said in the past or what have you. You know, I've put out over 700 videos over the past few years, and I can say there was not a single one of those videos where I attempted to make anybody feel bad. Instead, hopefully, let this video make you feel challenged to do one of those two things that I talked about, or even do both of them. I have more to learn about a lot of crops. Every year I say Brussels sprouts are the toughest thing I've tried to grow. Have I put in the work it takes to learn to grow them better, to get bigger sprouts? I love to eat them. I don't know that I've put in that work, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I can't grow it. I'm going to try my best to figure out the best way to do it and do it successfully. And so I'm going to continue to try to share my knowledge, as much as I've gained so far anyway, with everybody out there. And again, I'm going to encourage you to do the same. You don't have a green thumb or a brown thumb or anything like that. You just have the need to learn and to share in the garden.
Well, as I said, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you're encouraged. I wanted to put that video here at Let's Get Growing so that it could be right at the time where we're opening up. Many of us are opening up or getting into our gardening season. I know it's not true for some in the warmer grow zones, but for those of us in these cooler grow zones, we're getting so close. We've probably got seeds started, etc. Anyway, I wanted to release that at the appropriate time to get everybody encouraged, remembering that yes, you can garden, and you can garden well. It takes practice, it takes learning, but it's there for you. All right, folks, hopefully the next time you see a video from me, it will be outdoors. The temperatures will be fantastic. Who knows? Here in Zone 5, Wisconsin. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful month. I look forward to seeing you next month. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Ivy Organic was founded on the gardening concept of whitewashing, simply lightening your plants to better tolerate weather extremes, transplant shock, and so much more. Such a valuable gardening practice that farmers have been doing it since BC times. However, in recent years, most research has been caring for plants and trees using latex and tar-based products which are designed to last 100 years but fall off your plants within 1 to 2 years as your plants grow, contaminating your garden soil indefinitely. Available in colors white or more natural looking colors such as brown, green, gray, and grayish. Ivy Organic has 2 general categories of whitewash products. The 3-in-1 Plant Guard, which includes 7 natural oils including castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint, which offer insect and rodent repellent protection, and the whitewash oil-free formula. Both products also have diatomaceous earth in the base ingredients, which naturally offer some insect repellent protection too. As always, keep growing with Ivory Organics and wishing you all happy gardening.
All right. Excellent. Back at it here. Thank you, Paul from Guten Gardening, for the In the Garden segment this week. What a great discussion on green thumbs and all of that as well, too. I saw some great comments coming in here from that. Robin says, you've got to kill a lot of plants to get good at this craft. Agree. Practice. That's right. It's, again, a lot of just doing things, gaining some experience. It's really one of the more natural things as human beings we can do, is getting connected to nature and growing things and stuff too. Meg's Edible Landscape says, I think it's a perception for a lot of people gardening appears easy on YouTube and social media platforms, but it's not. There's a real fear of failure. That's right. And we talk about that too. And we've actually mentioned this a couple of times through the last couple of shows, talking about this, this idea of failure, and that's what, generally as we think of the word, on our minds when we're thinking about this sort of stuff, that failures and mistakes and, those sort of things come up, but they're really in the long run learning opportunities. We got learning opportunities when it comes down to it. And that's what we have to embrace when we first start gardening. Again, I think it's the greatest first piece of advice that we can give new gardeners, is to embrace these failures and embrace them as learning opportunities, because they're going to happen. As Robin said, you got to kill a lot of plants. I've certainly done so myself throughout the years, and still continue to do it season after season, even, let's see here. David also says, I've always thought green thumb or black and crispy thumb is just another way to say lack of knowledge or experience, something that is easy to change. Yeah, exactly. And again, too, I liked how Paul put that it's really, the myth of all of this as well. The black thumb myth, more so than the green thumb myth, is that, we all can grow. It's really, really not as hard. As Cholio says, though, too, is like sometimes people don't want to learn. It's like explaining calculus to someone who doesn't understand basic arithmetic. And that's kind of the myth right there that we need to dispel to people, that it isn't that complicated. It really isn't. It can be very simplified when it comes down to it. And again, there's a lot of folks out there that we get to talk to each and every weekend here on the show who, come and share with us these sort of, these sort of ideas and experience that they have in their gardens. And it usually follows that same sort of, pattern as well, too, and you'll hear from folks like even Gardener Scott, who comes in and does our Ask Gardener Scott. He, always will tell you that, all of his years and years and years of experience, he's still learning things every single season. And that's what you got to really embrace, is those learning opportunities we get through gardening. And then we learn through, through some of those things, how much simpler things can be and easier gardening really can be. And there's some things that even for me that I just still have the hardest time growing, when it comes down to it. Paul was mentioning, and succulents is just a fact. There's just certain things, when it comes down to it, that are difficult. And again, we just got to kind of embrace those things. Yes, he says, wise words, Paul. Thank you. Absolutely. And also I saw in the chat too, I want to give a shout out to, it's great to have you around here, Rick. Again, good to see you. He says he's in listening mode, joining us all the way from down under, from the future, our good friend Rick down in Australia. Excellent, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, I say this all throughout the show. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you didn't get a chance to check out yesterday's show, you definitely want to go back and check out yesterday's show. We had joining with us Grant Minkhorst from the Gardening Grant. Grant had been on the show before, and we brought him back again as a featured guest yesterday and had just a really, really awesome conversation with him. I enjoy the the fun that he brings to his gardening experience that he shares with everybody through his social media and all of that too. So go back, check out that conversation. Really great conversation. You won't regret it for sure. We also started the show out. We had our good friend David from Bowtie Life joining us from the Farmhouse Fair down in Florida. It was kind of a fun little on location type of little get around and check out the different things that they got going on at this event. I always encourage people to keep an eye out for these types of events and things in your local area so that you can get out and rub some shoulders with some other gardeners out there, get to talk and find out about what they got growing on, especially in your local area. This is where you're really going to find some of the best advice that you can get to help you out with some of those first gardens you're doing is from gardeners who are growing right where you're growing. So again, these sort of events are really awesome. Definitely go and keep an eye out for those type of events in your area. If you didn't get the chance to check out last week's show, though, too, we also had some really great shows last week. We had last Saturday with us, Christy Wilhelmy from Garden Nerd joining with us. She joined us to announce her newest book in the Garden Variety series, and a bunch of other really great gardening talk as well, too, with Christy. And also, we got to meet Sophia from One Arizona Garden, joined with us last week as well, too, for Are You Following Me? Talking all about growing in the heat of Arizona. And I think, some of that advice could be good for some of us in other places outside of Arizona, seeing about all of this heat that we're all seeing lately around. So, yeah, great conversation with her last week. Also, last Sunday on the Sunday edition of the show, it was our monthly gardening book club. That's right. We had our good friend, Mr. MBC, join with us live for In the Garden and our book club co-host. We talked this last Sunday with Gary Pilarczyk. Yeah, we were talking all about his book, Growing an Edible Landscape, How to Transform Your Outdoor Space into a Food Garden. Really great book, really great conversation. It's always awesome to have Gary with us here on the show. It was really great to be able to just kind of really focus in on his book that he wrote. And just really great stuff especially for all of you who are looking to transform your front yard, side yards, all these sort of different types of landscape spaces that we have into food gardens. So definitely go back and check that out if you didn't get a chance. And if you get to hang out with us towards the end of our book clubs, we announce our next month's book club. And for the April selection for our monthly gardening book club, we've selected Grow Now by Emily Murphy. And she wrote a really great book here, Go Beyond Organic, Rewild Your Land, Sequester Carbon, and Support Biodiversity in her book, Grow Now. So again, really going to be fun for that conversation coming up third Sunday of April. So definitely don't miss out on that show. Also, we're here three shows now. And last Monday evening on the Green Room with our good friend Natalie from the Fresh Princess, our co-host, we had joining with us Jessica from Dream to Seed and Chad from Down Home Backyard Gardening were with us for this last Monday's Green Room. Really great show. We're having so much fun with this new show, The Green Room. So you'll definitely want to check that out if you haven't already. And here in just a little bit later on in the show, I will let you know who we've got growing on for this next Monday's show as well, too. Or tomorrow. That's tomorrow. It's tomorrow already. The weekend's going by fast when it comes down to it. So, all right, everybody. Great to have you here with us again. Lots and lots going on here. I hope our guest is ready to go with us here as well, too, because, like I said, we originally planned to have a fun little roundtable discussion like we usually do with our friend Christopher Brandsdal and Khang Starr. But our friend Khang had something come up last minute. So we're going to just have a nice conversation with what will now be our featured guest.
You never know when you might learn something. And that's what this is about for me. These are people that I admire. Please welcome my next guest.
All right, all right. So let's go ahead and welcome to the show our guest today for the Sunday edition. We've got our friend Christopher
Hello.
Brandsdal joining us from, I suppose it's still the cold, snowy mountains of Norway, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it's still cold. It's freezing at night, and but we have some decent weather now in the daytime, so it's
All
hopefully
right.
getting somewhere.
What is that? Snowboards in the background there?
Yeah, I have some snowboards.
Yeah. You've been getting some putting those to use, right?
No. These are this is an old collection from
Oh, wow! Look at
2000s. Yeah,
that. Okay.
it's supposed to be an art piece here at the office. So, but I haven't mounted them on the wall yet. So yeah, they're just hanging back there.
Retired boards, or are you a retired boarder?
Both.
Both.
I
Right?
used to snowboard semi-professional at some point. So, but that's like
Semi-professional
20,
even.
25 years ago. So,
Oh my gosh, I feel you. I was the same for me too as well. I used to love snowboarding, like in my teens and 20s. Got out there as much as I could, all sorts of different slopes around the Pacific Northwest and everything. And I'll just share this. I had an incident up on the mountain where I totally about knocked myself out completely. I mean, just laid myself out. I don't even know. I might have been out for a minute. You never really know in those sort of situations. But man, I thought I had a concussion, all that sort of stuff. Should have been wearing a helmet, but I wasn't. It's just really ridiculous. And just decided I think that was about the end for me. I did not want to have that experience again.
yeah, I think if I start with my horror stories, we're gonna end up the whole stream full of them.
Yeah, I was never good enough to call myself semi-professional either. I was a very even as many times as I got to go out there, I don't think I ever really got that good at it, but I
Yeah,
was always hanging out with folks who would be doing things. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to be attempting that at all.
yeah. I was running competitions on both snowboarding and wakeboarding.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah.
wow, so much fun, so much fun in our youth, right? But now we're gardeners.
Yeah, now our body breaks once we hit the trampoline. So
That's
I
right.
think we need
For
to
sure.
stay with grounded hobbies now.
That's right. Yeah. I like that. Grounded hobbies for sure. That's awesome. Right on, man. So how's it been since we saw you last? How you doing?
Yeah, it's hectic as always.
Hectic. You're
Yeah,
always busy, aren't you?
I'm having too much work. It seems like this lifetime is this life is all about working. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit too hectic still, and I'm only keeping my garden alive. I'm not enjoying it as I'm supposed to. So
Right.
yeah, but
Oh,
I have the best indoor garden ever. So it's a shame that I don't have more time and energy to work on it. But yeah, it's work. It's work.
well, that's the thing, and especially ambitious gardeners like ourselves who want to grow all sorts of different stuff, especially you growing all these just crazy things you would never think about growing in Norway. But, with this indoor space you have, you can grow all sorts of just really cool stuff. And when we're ambitious like that, it does take some work, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and you need to prioritize. That's the problem. But
Hmm.
of course, the garden is my baby, and I like to keep it going, even though I don't have the time to spend there. I also wanted to do a stream there, but then it was just sheer luck that I ended up at this stream because you have switched to summertime and we haven't yet. So there's 1 hour difference from
Right.
regular. So I was looking at the watch and saying, "Oh, it's another hour." And then I was watching on YouTube and I saw you already went online.
Oh,
So
well, good thing you were keeping an eye out, huh?
yeah. So thankfully I made it, but it's 3 weeks or something I think that separates us because I think next
For the
weekend we
time
are
change.
changing the time also.
Yeah, I wonder if do you guys change right along with like the UK? Because I know
Yeah,
they
all
are
of
about to
Europe
be switching at
changed.
some point.
Yeah, all of Europe changed 3 weeks after United States, I think, and also
Okay.
in the autumn it's the same 3 weeks.
Okay.
So then we have We have 8 hours between us these 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and normally we have 9 hours between us.
Yeah. How do folks in Norway feel about that time change?
Yeah,
You know, is
everybody
it
on this planet agrees on this time change.
yeah. On this one?
Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes it. Yeah, yeah,
No.
exactly. Is it I don't again too is like the idea of when and what do they keep, and then I suppose, for this time of year we're gaining this extra hour, if we call it gaining, right, by making this change. But is it, maybe the having to do the clock change, having to think about like today, am I on gonna be on time for this or not, and that sort of stuff versus the actual what it's what the time change is for?
Yeah, it's for my sake, I just hate it because especially that they don't even agree on what date they are changing the time, which
Mhm.
makes all the work that I do at work, where I work with people from both Asia and from America and from all over the world.
Yeah.
When you suddenly have different time difference,
Mhm.
it's bad.
Yeah, yeah, it
So and
definitely is.
but the whole thing altogether is just not good. We should stick to summertime and then just keep it that way and never
Yeah.
change it again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really, for what simple in some senses when you just kind of go down the line and it's, as you go across the globe, it's changing by an hour and that sort of stuff. But I feel for folks like in Australia or maybe other places as well too, where they've got different time zones that are on top of each other, around
Yeah.
each other, things that are, and it's just so I definitely wouldn't like being in that sort of situation for sure.
No.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I agree, we should pick one of them. Maybe this one here though too, and just keep it, right? Keep
Yeah.
that hour where it is. Let's keep it uniform across the world so that we're not having to, I don't know, have it figure out. I know they got a couple of cool apps out there or websites that you can go and that'll line everything up for you, account for all of the different time changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But who wants
It,
to have to do that every time you're thinking about setting
yeah.
something up with someone from, especially for like this show around the world? I've got to deal with
Yeah.
this all the time when it
Yeah. I
comes
guess
to
you
trying.
also have these 3 weeks are a little bit different on that part.
Yeah,
It's a,
exactly.
it's a difference.
Yeah, double check, make sure, is this the right time or not? And I don't know why in our communication I didn't even think about that. I was more worried about getting you our show link this week.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
I
it's
was really
just,
worried about. Is he gonna make it? Does he even know? I haven't sent him the show link yet.
yeah. Oh, we're here.
We're here. We made it. I know. When I saw you pop up, I was like, right on,
Yeah.
cool.
We
We were
always
talking
make
contingencies earlier. We were like, oh, what are we gonna do if it's doesn't line up right?
Oh, then you just call me and I'll take 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right on, right on. So again, things
I was hearing
busy, of
about
course.
I
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
hearing about the temperature in California. What's up with that now?
Ooh, man, I'm telling you, it's kind of a case, again, here in the Southwest for sure, dealing with these just what they call one of these things that is kind of more recently known over the last several years, these things called heat domes, they're calling them, right? And so I guess over the Southwest here in the US, we've got this heat dome that's sitting over everything. And so like Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, all these places, are just starting to see these just, record triple digit temperatures in March,
Yeah.
which
Wow.
is, again, triple digits aren't unfamiliar for folks, even for myself here in Southern Oregon. It's, we're used to seeing those throughout the summertime, but so early in March, I mean, wow. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Just
It's
unbelievable.
it's another world.
Completely enough. And then too, it also kind of, pushes, when it's warm like that in one area, that kind of changes temperatures and things for other folks in other areas. And of course, we've got folks in the chat who live in more northern climates, a little more east of the Southwest, and their temperatures are fluctuating, seeing 70s and 80s when just the other day it was in the 30s, and that sort of stuff, so things are just really up and down right now for sure, more so than it usually usually is, because this time of year, right, Christopher, is, that transition from winter to spring, and we always see some fluctuations in temperatures, but they just really seem extreme this year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The weather is just getting worse.
Getting worse, getting
more
worse.
unpredictable, at least.
Yeah, exactly. What is to come out of some of this too, especially for us here who live in the West in the US. We've been getting real familiar with wildfires because it just gets so hot and warm so fast, and with what we're seeing already this year, oh man, I'm just really worried about what's coming up down the road.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's not very fun, Let's see here. Rick, he's down in Australia, says it's 6 a.m. next 2 weeks. We lose daylight savings in Sydney. So yeah, again, they changed there too in different ways as well too. So yikes. But how is it again too, as far, for us here, things are changing and really different for us, season to season, year to year. But, you're up there in a really cold area, of course it's still snowy and all of that. Is there a real noticeable change for you in your climate as well?
Yeah, most definitely. It's several degrees warmer on the average now. So the winters that I used to have up here when I was a kid, it's a complete different scenario. We can grow things now that are in 2 or 3 zones better than we was able to just 20 years ago. So it's a complete different scenario, and we have less snow, and the snow hangs on slower, and or less. It's not the same. So, but we had a very, very cold first 2 months of this year. But it's the typical thing is that we have a steady cold all winter, and we have decent snow, and we have everything perfect. But this year it was warm until January, and then it was freezing cold for 2 months, and then it started warming back up again. So we didn't have the regular winter like we normally have. It's just either it's melting outside or it's freezing cold.
Right.
So,
So you had a warming up in January.
Yeah.
We kind of see a little bit of that here, and what was that? Dusty was mentioning hardly seeing any snow out west, and drought and fires, of course, coming up as well too. Yeah, and I guess we're heading into a couple of more drought years possibly here as well, which isn't going to be fun. But we barely saw any snow here at all. Here where I'm at, we had like just like a day's worth. Came and laid down, got to see some little white around and everything, and then by the very next day morning it was just melted and gone and everything too. So that's barely anything for us when it comes to what we see here too. So
but it's also so strange that like when you see where Khang lives in Texas, like the snow problems that they are having now the last couple of years, it's very much changing. And also I read an article this winter that for the first time ever recorded, it was snowing on Cuba. And it's like,
wow,
something is changing.
Yeah. And again, too, that's where people get caught up in years past, was this idea everybody was using that word or the words global warming. And really it's climate change is what it is, because you see these warm ups in these places, say here, that are above temperatures that we're used to, in the hundreds in March and that sort of stuff. But that also changes weather patterns in other places around those sort of things that are going on, and can cause things in the opposite direction, just like you're talking about Texas and Cuba and these places you would never think of having snow like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Like for us here in Norway, we had a 3 degrees Celsius change just the last few years in overall temperature for the full year, and that makes a lot of difference. It's it gives us more flash floods, and it gives us more other troubles that we've never had before. So more lightning strikes. It's not something we're used to because it's so cold here. So things are changing.
Yeah, and then the lightning strikes, those are, you know, you got to be. That's where the fires are going to be starting again too. One of the things we do here, I live in this big valley, and we got all these hills around us, and kind of as these years, as we think about fire and fire season coming, we know that fire season is going to be earlier and earlier based on when the hills start turning brown from green.
Yeah.
They're all green coming out of winter, but man, how fast do they start turning brown? Last year, I think it was by like mid-April or so, they were brown. And the way things and temperatures are going and the lack of precipitation and snow and all of that, I think that, we could be seeing beginning of April that these are all, turn brown. And then that's when, again, you got to start worrying about fires, because any sort of storm, lightnings is going to start flaring them up for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Not too fun when we think about it on that level. But also, again, too, it presents some gardening challenges, or even some gardening gifts, I suppose, in some ways too, if you think about it for yourself. I mean, it kind of has extended your growing season a little bit, right?
Yeah, it does, but it gives us some other issues that we're not used to, because for instance, flowering, it confuses apple trees, it confuses plum trees, and all these trees that normally wait for the weather to slowly heat back up. But now that you go from extreme cold to very, very warm, they put out every flower bud and everything, and then you get a freeze again, and then it makes the whole crop almost disappear for a full year. So there's also issues for the regular biome plants that we have here are seeing some issues. And but it opens up possibilities for us hobby gardeners to do other things. But it's so unpredictable. That's the problem, because you can have very, very good weather, and then you can have extreme warmth. Well, at least for us, extreme warmth, and then you will get cooler periods with lots and lots of rain, and these plants are designed for that. So so it's not it doesn't give more than it takes. I think it's just different.
There's an equal and opposite reaction, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. You get a little bit of extra, but then you also get extra on the other stuff. Extra time to grow, but now you got more challenges, present because of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like for instance, we normally have extreme cold that the whole of the ground freezes, and we get some decent, at least 1 meter or 3 foot of frost in the ground where we live. So that also helps keep the rodents away and everything. And now I was in the greenhouse for the first time yesterday because the snow was low enough so I could go in there. And I saw that mice had come in this winter, and they have taken off all the bark on my fig tree. So that 3-year project is just down the drain now. On this part of the lower all the way to the ground, all the bark is gone. It looked like a beaver had been there. So
did it take out the tree, or are you able to save it? Or
no, it's no tree survived. It could give you a false hope in the beginning of the season once it thaws up and it sets something from the energy in the branches, but it will eventually die. I don't see any way a tree can live without bark at all. That's just not happening.
Right.
At least not a fig tree.
Yeah.
So I'm in the market for a new fig.
Me. I'd be thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna wrap that thing up. I'm gonna do whatever. But then again, I don't know if
that's the thing that I have been doing for 10 years. I've been doing that so many times. I've been trying to save them, and I've been using some wax, and I've been using everything, and then you get the false hope because it seems like something is happening, but then it's better to just take it out, put in a new one, and then don't lose the season for just playing around with something that's just not worth it.
Yeah, Joe
So
over at Muddy Puddles Farm says you take any cuttings?
no, I didn't. But it's okay. I want to change the variety.
Try a new one. Yeah.
I did the Chicago Hardy,
Yeah.
and I was very, very, very much enjoying growing that, and of
Mhm.
course the taste and the fruit and everything. It was just the perfect plant, or the tree for me. And then I lost it, and then because of the frost situation that we have here, I will eventually lose something. That's just the nature of the game. But then
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get cuttings from the Chicago Hardy, so I ended up with something called, I don't remember. It's a French name.
Yeah. I think
And it's okay, but I'm not super excited about it.
yeah.
But it's very hardy, so it seemed to take the greenhouse well. But
Yeah.
I want to get back
I
to
gotta
the Chicago Hardy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll have to go out and snip a piece off of mine for you.
Yeah, that would be perfect. But I also,
Mhm.
I think I have found somebody here in Norway on the marketplace that
Oh, good.
is growing, and they said they might have some cuttings for me later in the season. So I will see. But I definitely want to get back to the Chicago Hardy, because that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, yeah, it's really great. I really enjoy that one. I'm glad that my tree now is getting big enough where, I'm really looking forward to what I'm going to be able to get off of it this year. The last couple of years, just kind of growing and getting up, it's just kind of progressively gotten more fruit, but I think I'm going to have an excellent year this year. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I see several people are having issues with animals eating.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
also had we have 2 plum trees and 2 apple trees on our property, and they are fairly new. They're a couple of years old, so they're not very strong yet. And of course, the moose came in and ate them all. So.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we are starting fresh this summer. We
Oh
have
my.
nothing.
Well, hopefully you get something for it this year.
Yeah,
See, Jay's in here saying several French fig varieties are known for their cold hardiness and ability to thrive in cooler or temperate climates.
yeah.
And I wouldn't even try pronouncing
The
them.
last one, Ronde de Bourdon. That's the one that I have.
Okay, there you go.
That's the
Yeah,
last one.
I think that's the one I heard of. I think maybe Kang was suggesting that one, or someone
Yeah.
else I
We
know
have
was
both
suggesting.
grown that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. But it's a beautiful fig tree. I just really like the Chicago Hardy. The fruits are a little bit bigger and a little bit darker, and that's just the way I like the figs. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, right on. Yeah, I'm excited. I got again the Chicago fig I have is like my oldest tree that I've got. It's going to be great. There's going to be tons off of it this year. I'm really excited about. And then I got 2 other varieties. I told myself last year I got to go back through my old catalog of videos and find the video where I was first getting this one, and I know the names of it's in there somewhere, but I've totally lost track of that over the last couple of years. So I got a couple of varieties out there that are popping out and looking good and getting ready to, hopefully really produce, decently. They're a little bit younger than the other one, so it's not going to be as much as the Chicago one, but this year will definitely be some, there'll definitely be some good amounts off of them. And I'm
Yeah.
excited about having these different varieties than just the Chicago one. I mean, I could eat just the Chicago one. It's delicious. I
But
love
you
that one,
have
but
the ability to grow more different varieties. So why not just do that?
yeah. I mean, I wish I could grow all the varieties, but
Yeah.
because I keep getting offers from others, especially the fig hunter. I was just down visiting this last fall. He's like, "Hey, I got some more fig varieties for you. You can take these cuttings and everything." And I'm like, I already got, like, I don't know any more room where I could put them or anything like
Yeah.
that with all the other stuff I've got and everything. But I've got these 3 varieties, and the third one, the youngest one, will be kind of the first year I'll really have anything that I've gotten to be able to harvest off of it. So I'll get to taste it and find out what it's really like.
Yeah.
And if I like it or not, then maybe, we'll see whether or not we replace one of them or something.
Yeah, but you
with a
just
different variety.
graft it.
Yeah,
It's
graft
one
them
of
too. Yeah, exactly.
the simplest plant or trees to graft. They take it so easy. So
Mhm.
yeah, You should
Yeah,
just
yeah, that's definitely what I got to do. I got to try. I definitely got to start experimenting with grafting and doing all that as well too. It's something I'm
then you
a
need to
little
have
behind
time
on.
to do it.
Yeah, it really is the key when it comes to everything. I was just
It's
mentioning everybody.
always
Yeah, I was
yeah,
mentioning everybody at the beginning of the show is like, I coming out of winter, I haven't done much of anything. I've been really busy with a lot of stuff. Now I got this big list of stuff I've got to do. So I go out there because it was warm this last week, right? I'm
yeah,
gonna start knocking things off this list and doing stuff. And it seems like every time I knock something off, I'm adding 2 or 3 more things to the bottom. And
yeah.
the list just keeps growing and everything. And so it's like, where am I gonna find the time for all of this sort of stuff? But yeah, I got to get that done, especially the where I really want to get started and try doing some grafting is with my pear tree. I want to try to make sure I can get some good pears and maybe get some different varieties of pears, because that's the one biggest piece of advice I've gotten with that one in particular is like, you need some different varieties around that pear tree if you really want to,
Yeah.
get your
Good
production
yield.
going
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I got to really do is go find someone who's got a couple of different pear varieties around here and snip some cuttings off of them and do some grafting onto that and see what I can get
Or you
done.
need to make Kang send you some, because I think he has a lot of different things.
Yeah, Kang for sure would be a great one too. I'm sure
He makes all these Franken trees.
his Franken trees. I love it. Yeah, and again, though, I mean, it's just I think it's one of the coolest things, though, too, is the idea that you can have just these multi-grafted trees that are just producing all these different varieties of things, and whether you're growing pears and having all these different pears, apples, peaches. I got my peach tree out there. I'd love to try maybe putting a couple of other varieties of peaches on it too or something. So yeah, I've got to get onto it. Got to find the time, got to go find the cuttings, just get into it and do it. Like you said, it's really not that difficult ultimately, as I've learned from other folks who've been doing this before.
Yeah. I'm in the process of considering the greenhouse that we have outside, because it's starting to get old. I've had it for 10 years now, I think. And also when I bought it, it was 10 years old at least. So it's starting to get to the point where the polycarbonate panels are starting to wear out, and they are so expensive to replace. And if you start replacing, then you will soon need to replace everything, and that's just not a good solution. So I'm trying to come up with a plan on what I want to do in the future with the greenhouse. I'm considering changing it out for a newer one, and also if you go down that road, you always start thinking about all the things that you would like to do different. And there's some experience in growing in the last 10 years, and I see that I always end up with a jungle, and that's really not a fun family place to be. So
Right.
I'm thinking that
Making some adjustments to deal with that.
I would like to do some adjustments, and also my complete greenhouse is soil, so I have so much problem with weeds and all these things. So I need to reconsider what I want to do with the greenhouse. But I'm kind of holding off on a big project now until I decide on if I should change out the greenhouse, and if I'm going to do that, what kind of greenhouse do I want to put there. So there's a lot of things that I'm considering in that regards.
Yeah, no, but that would be really great. Get some, like you said, make some adjustments, make things just a little bit better, have a more better space, and the greenhouse being something big. I did want to address this here real quick. Dusty Flats in the comments here. I've only 8 fig Newtons. Sounds like a lot of work, and then I probably wouldn't like them. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you here too. This is my experience, Dusty, for sure. I only knew about fig Newton cookies myself too. Prior to going to visit John Kohler at his place, where he had just this massive fig tree in his front yard garden, and that was my first time trying a fig, just ripe, just juicy, right off of the tree and everything. And I'd only eat them, and I kind of like the fig Newton cookies. They're okay, growing up and all of that. But man, when I got to taste this fig fresh, just right off of the tree, it was just so delicious. Like I said, it's become one of my favorite things, and like with that Chicago fig, which is a great example of a delicious fig, right? I love plucking those things off and giving them to people as they're coming through, who haven't tried figs before, and seeing, that look on their face like, wow, this is so much different than what they would have expected from, again, too, most people's experiences, the Fig Newton cookies.
Yeah. Yeah, but figs are delicious. I love figs, and I also love the smell of the trees in the greenhouse. It has a very distinct fig smell that
Oh,
I
wow.
really
See, and
really
that's
like.
something I haven't got to experience. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
but
in a
if
greenhouse
you have
like that.
a dewy morning or something, and you go out and you smell around the leaves, you
Yeah.
really get that. It's the same. It's the same smell that we get when we go on vacation to Spain or to
Oh,
Greece or
right.
something like that, where they have these huge fig trees. Then you really get the same late at
Mhm.
night or early in the morning. You get that beautiful smell of the fig trees.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like this Sean the gardener saying you can make hedges out of fig trees. So yeah, you certainly could, and I bet you if you had a bunch of them like that, that you'd really get to tell, have that smell that you're talking about. I'm gonna have to make that a point to get out there and really kind of go out and purposely look for this fragrance for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're fun things to grow and delicious to eat.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us again here, you were started talking about your greenhouse that you've got there too. Tell us a little bit about the greenhouse that you have now, and what kind of changes would you make if you were to do a new one?
First of all, well, the one that I have now is about 50 square meters, so that's about 500 square feet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very large greenhouse.
Yeah.
But the first thing that I would do is I would like to have some sort of paving or stones in the walkways instead of
Mm,
having just now I have dirt with just a cover and then bark. But the issue is that the weeds always finds their way through it, and
right.
also every single year when you are not harvesting all your tomatoes or peppers or whatever it is, that all the fruits are just dropping into the bark, and then next year you will have 1,000 everywhere or
Oh
millions of
my.
plants growing everywhere. And
Right.
also we have large fields on all the sides of our property, and there's so much flowers and everything, and all the pollen or the seeds from all these fields are kind of just blowing through the greenhouse, because in the summertime the door is open and the ventilation are open, and then you get so much weed into or seeds from weeds into the greenhouse, and
Mm-hmm.
and when you have so much area for them to grow, you always end up using half the season just picking weeds in the greenhouse.
Oh
And in the
my.
greenhouse you shouldn't spend too much time picking weeds. That's kind of one of the points of a greenhouse. But
Yeah.
also on the other side, I like to grow in the dirt directly, because we have phenomenal soil that's been worked on for hundreds of years outside, and
Yeah.
and it is very very good, and that keeps me from having to water in the greenhouse. I do not water in the greenhouse the full season, because the rain outside brings the
Yeah.
moisture into the soil, and it just flows through the greenhouse. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have want to have beds that
Yeah.
are closed in the bottom. I want to have an open solution that can really utilize the soil beneath the greenhouse. So,
Right.
but I would like to make it a little bit more functional, less plants and more living area, to be honest,
Right.
because yeah, we don't use everything from the greenhouse. It's too much once it's full. So it's
Yeah.
better to have a little bit less and some more space to go in and out. So
Right. Just to be able to enjoy the space then,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's why we also have we did I mentioned before that we did tear down a house that we had here on the property. So we have a
Mhm.
lot of space there also now. So we're in the process of considering kind of what we want to do with the layout of our property. If we want to keep the greenhouse where it is, or if we want to move it around, and we want to have different types of gardens, because the greenhouse is kind of my project where I want to go do crazy things and make food. But also we would like to have a strawberry garden for the rest of the family, and maybe grow some potatoes and carrots and stuff like that. So we're in the process of figuring out where things are going, to be honest. So but that's something that we are very much excited as.
So maybe you keep the one you got as an experimental space, right? And build up another one that can be more of that family type strawberry beds and different things that the family can enjoy as well too, right?
That would not be a greenhouse. That would be just outside in the nature, like we used to have, because we used to have a if you look back to my older videos, you see I have a huge garden with everything, but it's just something that we didn't have the time, and we also had some other projects that were requiring that we had to prioritize both the space and the time. So but hopefully we will get back into having more time to do the things that we as a family like to do, which is making it nice around there, and having a garden to enjoy for the whole family.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Especially for the kids, right? You want to get them in the garden and be showing them and getting them that experience while they're young, and figuring out and learning how all these things grow, right?
Yeah, definitely. And there's nothing like having a strawberry field and or having raspberries and strawberries and everything, and being able to just go out and eat.
Right. That's right. How old are they now?
9 and 11.
Oh yeah, perfect age then, right? Perfect age. Are they already starting to take some interest in the plants and things that you're doing?
Yeah, they like, at least my oldest is a fanatic after what we define as banana water. That's when you water the bananas and you let them sit for a few hours, then they start sweating the water back out again on the leaves, and you get these puddles, large puddles of water on the bananas.
Oh,
and
wow.
they have a little bit of the same taste as you would if you bite into a green banana. You would get the banana taste, but without the bitterness.
Oh,
so
wow.
So we are always in the grow room drinking banana water.
Well, that's a totally different take on banana water than what you're used to hearing online about how take your banana peels and put them in some water and feed your plants, right? No, this is great. This is just the transpiration of the leaves producing puddles right on the leaves of this. Oh, wow. That's got to be great. I've never tried that before either. That would be fantastic.
I'm just wondering, we're working on the metric system, and you're all the way over on some other things that I really don't understand.
Right. Us over here in the States, right? We confuse everybody else around the world with how we measure and do things around here.
Yeah. But I give my bananas about a gallon of water each day each.
Okay.
So it's a lot of water for a houseplant.
Each day though too, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. They're really drinking it up then.
Yeah. And but the bananas are huge, and the stem on the bananas is much thicker than my head now. So
wow.
Yeah, they're just enormous.
Right. And now, okay, in your room, your grow room now is a lot taller, right? Are they hitting the ceiling still?
Yeah, it's 2 feet taller. Yeah, one of them is just bent by the ceiling now. So
my.
And that's all from October until now. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten them to produce flowers?
No, but I'm going for it this time. With the one variety, the dwarf Cavendish is called.
Yeah.
That's my favorite banana to grow also, and it's looking so healthy, and it still has room to grow. So I'm hoping that I can keep it bug free now until next season, to call it, so after the summer, because I've been keeping the grow room bug free. 100% bug free from this season.
That
That's,
really is the challenge, right?
yeah, it's I've had that happening once before, but it's a rarity to be able to have a grow room go a full season without having bug issues. So the
Yeah.
problem now is going into the summertime,
Yeah.
and you walk outside and you want to go into the grow room. You put your shoes by the door, but there could be bugs on your pants, or there could be bugs everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's just the thing that happens in the summertime. So you're almost guaranteed to get some sort of trouble. But I always try to keep
Yeah.
people out of the grow room. I try to don't invite the dog into the grow room and stuff.
Right.
It's just all these small things. I don't know if they're helping, but at least yeah, I'm trying to avoid it, because if I can avoid it now, then I would have a full new winter season ahead of me with the bananas that hopefully will produce fruits. Because
Yeah.
I'm guessing that would have happen next winter if I'm able to keep the plant.
Yeah, absolutely. When I got noticed that King wasn't going to make it, I tried reaching out to our co-host. I got a new show this year that we're doing called The Green Room, and our
Yeah.
co-host Natalie, the Fresh Princess, she grows in a big, huge grow tent that she has in her basement. And I
Yeah.
know this last week she had thrips show up in her grow space, and now she's totally broken it all down, washing everything out, doing all that. But she goes, like you said, she does the same thing. She keeps the husband, the dog, anybody out of the space, and not careful in introducing everything. But it just kind of seems like it's almost unavoidable. I mean,
It
how in
is.
the world do they find their way into these like sanitized spaces in a way, right?
But if you think about my grow room, I've always had an outside door into the grow room. It's easier when it's in the house and you kind of can stay in the house and just go into the grow room. But the problem for me is that I always have an outside door leaning into the grow room. That's what I had before, and that's what I have now. And there's no way for me to avoid that with the large setup that I want to have. I need to have. I need to use one of the rooms that we have, and those are outside access. So it's unavoidable. And for instance, spider mites, when you open the door, there could be a pressure, and they can just fly in. So there's almost nothing you can do. But the only thing that you can do is practically just stay away. That's kind of the best thing to do. But as I said, when it needs almost a gallon of water every day, if each plant, then you kind of have to.
Yeah, you kind of got to get in there, right?
Yeah.
But you do a mix. You do a mix of like soil and like a hydroponic type of systems, right? So you have kind of both going on in your area.
Yeah, I have both systems going, and they're not thriving at the moment. They're just kind of hanging on.
What would you suggest though for someone who maybe we can pass this along to her? What would you suggest for someone who's just using a complete water system, no soil at all in their space, but they're dealing with thrips and stuff? Because I know we've talked about before, you get some of these beneficial nematodes or these other types of things you can introduce to your soil, but you can't really do that with a water-based system, right?
So for a hydroponic setup with thrips, I'm not. I don't see that as a huge problem. It's a matter of hosing things down and trying to just keep an eye on the plants and just hose them all the time. Just wash them down, because thrips.
Just washing the plants down themselves, right?
Yeah, I just use a hose with large pressure, and I just hose them hard, just to get rid of everything. Because thrips in their life cycle, they require soil. So they are not going to have a good time in a soilless environment over time. But that's worse with spider mites, for instance. Those are horrible, even if you have a fully hydroponic setup. But thrips, I've had thrips so many times, and on the hydroponics, it's never been a huge problem. It's something. It's a little bit of work, but it's fixable. but in soil, thrips are almost impossible to get away with if you have, at least if you have like 100 plants like I do. Thrips is just nothing you can do with it once it gets into your grow room.
Yeah, yeah. You just got to kind of work with it and manage it. Yes. Again, too, I was just hoping that she can find something where she doesn't have to, she gets these situations happening and it's for her, it's a complete tear down, washing things up.
Yeah.
But in the long run, if you try to grow things out, I suppose, and like you said, find a way to be
But
getting them.
if she's growing hydroponically and only in water, then it's just a matter of putting in some work on washing. That's my biggest tip on thrips, at least. For the other pests, it varies, but yeah, thrips are just, if you can wash them away, they have kind of nowhere to what's it called? Move forward in generations.
Yeah, just kind of breaking that life cycle for them as well, right? And they're just, again, they found themselves in there. They're probably trying to figure out what the heck's going on themselves because they can't find any soil anywhere as well, too. So as long as you're kind of keeping down the population pressure just a little bit, they're eventually just going to kind of wear out then.
Yeah. And you can also buy beneficial mites that can help. Once you have a very big infestation, there's nothing they can do. But if you want to use it as a prevention, then it's really effective.
Yeah. We see we got a comment here from EE2201 question about tobacco tea for thrips. Have you ever heard of tobacco tea?
Yeah, I've never tried it. I've tried to grow tobacco before, but the seeds didn't germinate, so I haven't tried using it. But I think that would be very effective. But again, if you have a deep infestation of things, the only thing that really helps is severely killing them off, and then that's what you do with harder stuff. You can make problems fade, but you cannot get them to fully go away, in my experience at least, with all these there's so many tips and tricks on what you can do, but they always find some sort of way to come back if the infestation is deep enough.
Yeah. Tobacco plant, you were talking about tobacco plants. I got to try growing those again too. I did grow those many years ago, and it is really kind of cool. We talk about trap plants in a way, to attack or to attract some of these bugs and pests and things we get in our garden. But tobacco is one of those plants that are just really make a really cool trap plant because they are really sticky. And just like as we talk about, like you see the little gnats, fungus gnats, and things like that. We use the little yellow sticky traps and stuff. But tobacco plants are kind of like one of those sticky traps as a plant, and it's amazing to see the amount of bugs that actually get stuck to those plants when you got them growing in your garden spaces. So I got to get back to doing that myself in the outdoor space, but it'd be interesting to see what they would do also as an indoor trap type of plant for an indoor space.
Definitely.
Yeah, right on. So again, we talked about a banana you got growing in your plant. What are some of the other plants and things that you're growing right now within your space that you got?
Yeah, I have some citrus that I'm trying to get going in hydroponic, and they're doing very well. I also have a lot of different things. I've been growing some soursop, if that's the name. I don't know the name.
I've heard that, soursop. Yeah.
So I have those, and I have some moringa going, and I have a lot of different things. Guavas. I have several different types of guavas, and it's just I went through my seed collection. I thought, well, let's try to grow some of them because I don't want to buy anything this year. So I only germinated from seed, and I have all these different types of plants going, but they're starting to get very big. They're growing extremely well. And I also have 4 bananas, and 3 of them are almost at the ceiling. So it fills the space. To be honest, it's I don't need many plants to fill the space. They are quite big.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we got to get you to do another live stream and take us around and give us a little tour and show of these plants, man. It's always, again, like I said, I always find it just so amazing at what you're able to accomplish with these plants in these spaces. It's just really cool.
Yeah, and I also have papayas. Those are
Papayas,
also,
even guavas. I mean, come on.
yeah. The papayas looks like they are starting to put out flower buds now. So I have 2 different varieties of papaya. So hopefully they can cross-pollinate. That would be so much fun to see if I can grow a papaya indoor. But I also harvested some of the dwarf pomegranates, and they were delicious. And I was amazed at how good the fruit actually was. I wasn't expecting it to be edible, but it was just like a regular pomegranate, only a little bit smaller.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Make some pomegranate juice or something, and man, right off, if it's something you're growing right there in this space. Again, too, I mean, these types of plants, you just, like you said, you can't have real big expectations, right? But it's really kind of cool when they turn out really nice and give you something like, a pomegranate you're familiar with, right?
Yeah, it's easier with the smaller plants. It's easier, but with the larger ones, I've been doing this long enough that I'm not expecting too much from it. It's like if you're growing a watermelon indoors and you're expecting to have huge watermelons constantly, it's not going to be easy. At least I don't say it's impossible, but it's not easy. You need water, you need food, you need light, enormous amounts. You need to replicate nature. That's what you need to do to make these things work. But I have a long-standing dream of hopefully getting from seed to a fruit of some sort, and not a tomato or something like that, but like a guava or
Sorts of different things, right?
Yeah. Papaya.
Oh yeah, the papaya though. That really, I mean, aren't those a pretty big trees when they? Yeah.
Almost everything I grow is a big tree.
Yeah. That's again too, to be able to kind of fit that in the space, get it to fruit properly.
Yeah, and the issue is that it circles back to the pest problem that we were talking about, because when you grow these things indoor, you kind of need everything to go perfect for several seasons to be able to do these kinds of things. And then you end up with at some point almost having to choose between the smaller projects or just focusing on the larger projects. And that's what I see now with the bananas and the papayas and all these things that are starting to get really, really big now. I need to almost look at all my smaller plants and see if that's something that I almost should stop with to have more control over pests. Because when you have these huge trees, for instance, if you get spider mites, they will eat up a fully sized banana indoors without any problem. That's not something that would happen outside, because there would be help from other insects, but indoors they will eat everything. So that's why I don't know. I don't have a good rule for how to do these things, and it's kind of not easy to find information online on doing it either, because people aren't doing it.
When you're one of the few people in the world doing something like that, you really are the source then at that point, right?
You kind of see when you Google online, you see somebody has a huge avocado tree indoors. That's fine, and they almost never have any other plants. It's kind of like those one-off projects, and those are so much easier to control. Like for me, I'm doing 10 of these projects at the same time in the same room, and that's where the problem accumulates enormously. Once you get some sort of pest problem or anything related to that, it's very hard to keep it going forever. That's kind of the issue. And the guava and the papayas and all these, the banana, everything, they need more than one season. They need up to 5-6 years in some cases. So that's why you need to kind of have it going. And also the coffee, of course, always with the coffee. That's also something that you need to do for a while.
You gotta grow those things out for several seasons to kind of get them to where you need them to be for any sort of production, right? Yeah. That's so fascinating though too. Again, trying to grow those sort of things in the those sort of climates and that sort of stuff. But also, like you said, if you're doing it season after season, you got to keep these things alive. And you're talking about like the spider mites can take these whole things down and everything too. Is like you got to really, really be keeping an eye on things, right? I mean, you just can't walk away or not be.
No, you can't. But I feel like when I have a couple of plants here at the office, I have a Strelitzia, or what's it called, birds of paradise, and I also have a moringa tree, and I can just go over there with a magnifying glass and look at the plants, and with almost 100% certainty say if the plant has an issue or not. But the problem up in the grow room is that I have 100 of these pots and they're intertwined everywhere, and there is no way I could be possibly getting over all the nooks and crannies to actually check if there is a problem. So the problem with those big gardens, like for instance with the voodoo garden that Ray had, and like your plants also, you have a beautiful lush garden behind you there. if you get a problem, it's not something that you would recognize until it's gone a little bit further. That's the thing. If you have one plant, then you see it right away. But if you have 100 plants or more, then it's really hard to see where the ground zero is.
This one up here, I just was noticing actually earlier, it's got some sort of problem going on with it right now that I got to start to figure out what it is. And I think after the show's over, I'm going to be moving that sucker out of here so I can figure it out. But
you have one advantage in your garden, and that is that you are not growing food there, because the food carrying plants are so much more receptive for they have a lot more problems with pests. When I grow, like for instance, I have the same the plant on your left side, the
left
Monstera.
This side?
No,
this side, the Monstera, the Locosia.
I also have a Monstera like that, and that survives everything. I don't have any pest problems with it. I don't have anything. If there is something crawling over it, I just wipe over the leaf and it's gone. It's those type of plants that you really should grow indoors, and that's the reason why they are called houseplants, because they don't have the same issues that like a banana have, or other things that are supposed to give food. Those plants that are giving food are bug problems number one.
Well, the worst I've had with that one is scale. I had some scale on it a couple of times, and I don't know if it's just I beat it back once and some survived and then it came back a little bit. But I just I just kind of take a little alcohol swab and hit those things up and take care of them as soon as I notice that sort of situation happens. So it isn't that big of a deal or detrimental to everything else around it, at least that I've found so far over the couple of years that we've been growing it in here. But
but it's much better. But if you try to like grow tomatoes indoors and peppers, and you have a lot of these plants, and then you get trips, it's not a good place to be, because the trips outpaces everything. So again, it's the food carrying plants, I like to call it, because the ones that aren't supposed to be eaten, those are the ones that I always end up saving after I've had an infestation, because it's not that big of a deal. The problem is with all these softer leaf plants that are carrying food, it's not a good good thing.
Yeah. And also too, for me, and one of the things I've been wanting to do is most folks can't see behind the Monstera here is a 4 foot by 4 foot, 6 foot indoor grow tent that I have. That's just actually been kind of like my plant storage room in a way. I store things and all that sort of stuff in there. But it has been my goal is to convert it back into, putting some lights in there like when I first had it and growing stuff indoors. But that's my big worry though, is that now, like you said, I'm going to bring some stuff like some overwintered peppers or growing some of these other types of food plants inside that space. Well, what could happen, to the rest of the plants or everything else when I start opening that door of that grow tent and something inside of it is infested, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but like for instance, I had the huge citrus that I used to have here in the office. That one's gone. It's a dried stock right now. But I did an experiment with this because it had spider mites last season in the grow room. So I took it down here and I hosed it down. I cut off everything, so it was only the bare stock, and then it grew back out again. And so I did a thorough hosing down, and I did wash the soil also. I did everything in my power to avoid the problem with it. But I brought it back in here. It started growing back, and it looked beautiful here now this winter. But then 6 months into the process, the spider mites were back. And they haven't come from anywhere now in the winter time. I don't have spider mites on the two other plants that I have here. There's and those still don't have an issue. And I always keep my plants meters and meters away from each other to make sure that if I spot something, because this was an experiment. I wanted to see if the spider mites were truly in the soil, because I got rid of everything, and I even scrubbed the stem. So everything came back from new buds, and there weren't a single branch on the tree when I took it down here. But still, they somehow survived half a year in the soil. So it's not easy. You might think you have gotten rid of the problem, and then you get it back, and you think, oh, it's just a new flash. But it could very well still be the same initial problem that just never went away. So they are really hardy.
Yeah, for sure. Again, the big challenge, dealing with that, whether you're indoors or outdoors, is dealing with these pests and what they want to do. They want to take everything out, but when it comes down to it, we just got to figure it out. Do these mitigation methods, like you say, and keeping things away from each other, doing all sorts of stuff. I really too got to start experimenting with the idea of like these beneficial nematodes and things that you've talked about before when it comes to soil gardening, is getting some of those things in your soil, right?
Yeah, the hypoaspis miles, as they're called, for fungus gnats, those are necessary for indoor gardening. I just hate those small black pests that are flying around those gnats.
Oh man, they can get. I'm sure again too. They pop up as it starts to warm up a bit more and everything. So I'll have to start setting my traps out and all of that sort of stuff here real soon, I'm sure. But they're really just not fun to deal with when it comes down to it. I haven't really seen too much damage from them or anything. It's just who wants to have them in your face and have them flying around and you suck one up as you're breathing or something. Oh gosh, that's the worst too, man.
Yeah, we all done that several times. But
that's what makes them so annoying.
Yeah, the only time that I've found them to be an issue is when you're dealing with new seedlings. That's when they actually can come in and kill. I've had a full seedling event gone bad because of fungus gnats. Because they were in the soil that I used. It was potting soil from the garden center. Of course, you shouldn't use that. But where else should you get potting soil? So you kind of just have to roll with it. But I planted and I put on plastic on top of the containers. And then a few days later, you see the plastic is the bags are just full of small black flies. and nothing germinated, nothing at all. So they probably just ate whatever was either trying to come up, or they just took the seeds, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, the fungus gnat needs to stay away from the garden, the season start.
That's right. That's right. And especially those young little starts you're trying to bring up and everything too, as well. So yeah.
But
So
once
right
they're
on.
like this, then there's not a problem at all. Then the fungus gnat isn't a problem. It's just a nuisance to have that in the grow room.
Yes, it definitely is, for sure. So right on, man. Time's flying right by here, boy. Like you said, I love hanging out and talking with you about all this sort of stuff. Wish Kang could have joined us, but you know, we'll get him next time. This is really actually, I was like, oh man, maybe get this lined up and get these guys together and do like what we did when I first started live streaming with guests. You guys were my first guests I ever had live streaming with. Doing what we were taught, what we did was our first day of spring, or the first weekend of spring live streams we were doing. So again, well, it's still good to get you here with us as too, here for our first weekend of the spring here. And
it doesn't have to be the last time.
it's never going to be the last time. You're not getting away from me. That's for sure. I'll drag you on here, whether you like it or not. Right.
That's good.
But no, it's so great to hang out with you too. Again,
next time we will take it in the grow room as we did last time. That was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Have the time to set it up now that I messed up the time.
Yeah, exactly. Right, for sure. We definitely got to check out what you got growing on in the grow room and everything as well too. But
sure.
But yeah, you know, and as well as that, though, I mean, get you talk you into, like I was mentioning earlier, getting out and doing some live streaming as well too. You know, you don't have to produce any videos, but you know, get you on for an hour or so here and there, and take us along with this adventure that you're on with this new grow room and everything.
Yeah, I'm in the process now of determining in the work that I do. I'm in the process of determining how the next 5 years is gonna look like for me, and that's something that will be clear within 1 or 2 months now, and then I would really have the opportunity to more or less schedule what my gardening is gonna look like going forward, because now I'm working 16-17 hour days, and it's it's just not combinable with having a huge garden. So that's why I always just end up watering. But my end goal is to retire from the day-to-day work and only do videos. that's my end goal, and
that is our dream, isn't it?
I'm crossing my finger, and it looks like that might also be possible for me within maybe the next five years or so. So I'm crossing my finger these days that things are going the way that I'm planning it right now, and then you will be tired of me because I will be online all the time.
I don't think we can get tired of you, that's for sure. You know, it's great. Like I said, it's really always awesome to talk to you. I mean, I'm completely fascinated from day one that I met you and learned about what you were doing with these indoor gardens and stuff. You know, going back to, which I think is really great, we had one of my original subscribers, and you're one of them as well too. But Nancy was in the conversation a little bit earlier, and she was a familiar name around Ray's channel.
One of my first subscribers also.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, how awesome again too to have some of the OGs of our channels here, hanging out with us today. Like I said, it's always awesome to chat with you and to talk with you about all this sort of stuff. And hopefully next time we'll be able to catch a day when Kang doesn't have anything else going on and get us all three together or something. I really wish though too, and as I mentioned earlier too, we got the new show, The Green Room. Just the time is it doesn't really work out for all you folks over in UK, Europe, and all of that sort of stuff too, for our evening show and everything. But man, it would be so fun to get you on over there as well too at some point in time. But that's really early in the morning for you.
Yeah, but at what time are you hosting it?
We start the green rooms at 5 p.m. with guests on at 5:30 for sure. Yeah, but
what's the name of your time zone?
Pacific.
Yeah.
There you go. Can imagine what time that is I'm thinking got to be somewhere early in the morning.
That's probably 5 p.m. PDT. Is that the correct?
Yep.
5 p.m. Yeah, that's my 1 a.m. these days. And then it's my 2 p.m. Yeah.
2 a.m. when you change
2
time
a.m.
again.
Sorry. Yeah, 2 a.m.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. you'd have to be up for a real late night for one of those, but we've been having so much fun with these shows and all
with
that.
some potato chips and a cold beer, then I might be able to stay awake one time. But
No doubt, for sure. Yeah, again, too, it's been fun. I just love doing this show, and again, that's all thanks to you and Khang getting me started with talking with people and doing guests here on my live streams. That this whole show even got developed and brought to what it is today. So again, like I said, it's always great to have you guys here, and I'll always be trying to find an open date for you here every couple of months so that we can catch up with what you got growing on. And like I said, hopefully this next time we get you here, we'll maybe have some live streams or something in between. We can catch up with what you got growing on there in your garden, because you got to be showing that off. We got to be seeing what's happening in there, because like I said, it's really cool. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, you need to push me. And I'm so thankful that you're inviting us back all the time. And it's so much fun. And I have so much fun with my two equal friends in the gardening space. And I just love it. And I love your shows also. It's so entertaining. And I am lurking more than you know.
Oh, I love it. That's perfect. Yes, exactly. I love the lurkers as well too. I'm that guy when it comes down to it. I try to get into other people's streams as often as I can and all of that. Come in and just say something or two and all of that. But a lot of times I'm just lurking in the back, just watching, keeping an eye on what people are doing.
That's the point of the show, isn't it? To have people engaged in whatever situation they're in, and I just love these talk shows are very interesting to just listen to when you're doing something else. And if I'm working at night in the weekends, I always put on your show when I'm doing my work, but I'm always listening in with all the people that's on the show. And it's such an interesting thing, and it's almost like a podcast in many ways.
Yeah, exactly. It's the new form of a podcast, the video casting, as we originally called this show, the live cast. Where, a live stream, video stream, and then audio podcast. We got to get back to doing that though too here soon. But yeah, again, I can keep on talking to you all day long here, and if you want, you can stick around for just a minute or so. But I'm gonna let you go here real quick and finish this all up. And thanks again, Christopher. It's always great to have you here. Absolutely. And until next time.
Bye.
Hey, gardeners. Thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits. All right. Here we are. What another great conversation with our good friend Christopher Brandsdal. And again, like I said, old school OG friends here today. It's really great again to see him. And then next time around, hopefully we'll get Khang back in here with him for another fun conversation when we get them the next time around here. And I try to get him on every couple of months. And as I said, it's just always great to be able to talk with him about what's going on in his grow space. Well, let's also find out what we've got growing on here for the show coming up as well. I mentioned earlier in the show, our monthly gardening book club coming up for April is going to feature Emily Murphy and her book Grow Now. So definitely come and join with us for the third weekend of April and check out our monthly gardening book club. Also coming up tomorrow, that's right, tomorrow we're back at it again here for the Green Room. Natalie the Fresh Princess will be joining with us as our co-host, and joining both Natalie and I for the Green Room tomorrow evening is Craig LaHoulier, author of the book Epic Tomatoes, a real popular tomato growing book, and was also featured on our monthly book club a while back ago. And again, we'll have our good friend Mark Boucher-Colbert, Mr. NBC, the book club co-host, joining with us as well too tomorrow night for the discussion. We'll talk all sorts of stuff about tomatoes, of course, but we'll touch on a bunch of other gardening subjects and all of that as well too. It'd be great to have Craig and Greg or Mark back together again for our show tomorrow night on the Green Room. Also, to let you know about what we've got coming up here this next weekend here on the show. Next weekend, I kind of told everybody yesterday, the Saturday show, I'm going to be taking the day off. I've got some things I got to do for the show, but what we're going to do is a little Jay Dixon Let's Get Growing takeover. That's right. Jay will be with us next Saturday here to host the show, and she'll also have with us Katrina from Sow and Tear, our contributor for the Grow What You Eat segment on the Green Room. So Katrina's going to come join with and hang out with Jay next Saturday with all of you. So definitely come in and hang out and join the discussion with them next Saturday. Also, next Sunday, for the Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing show, we're going to have a fun show next Sunday. We're inviting back onto the show our good friend. You see him in the chat all the time. He's always jumping in there as a great supporter of the show. Tony O'Neill from Simplify Gardening will be joining with us this next Sunday to talk about his big project he's been working on these last year or so. He's got a really cool, app or that he's introducing here. We're going to talk all about and dig into, called Grow Track. And I know you guys have seen and probably seen some of these other growing, gardening type apps that help you out with different things. I just want to assure you that this is above and beyond and completely a whole new thing when it comes to growing and gardening. And what Tony has that he's going to be releasing to the public here real soon for his new Grow Track is just absolutely fantastic in what it's able to do. And we're going to dig into all of that information, let you know all about that sort of stuff next Sunday on the show. So you definitely don't want to miss out on next Sunday's show with Tony O'Neill from Simplified Gardening joining with us live here. And then again, too, we got another Green Room show next Monday. But if you want to know who's going to be on next Monday's Green Room, you got to come and join with us tomorrow for the Green Room. So definitely come and join with Natalie and I tomorrow. Hang out with Craig and Mark, and we'll let you know who we got coming up for next Monday's Green Room. But if you can, before you head out, everybody, let's go ahead and click that like button. Let's hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and bell notification so you can be notified of all of these just really awesome shows that we've got coming up for you, as well as share with your friends. Let them know about our 3-day gardening weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show. Again, we're here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then the Green Room at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, really great to have you all here with us today. I will mention one more time, as I want to do here at the end of our shows, if you can and do have the ability to donate, please check out the links down below in the description. We welcome all of your donations to help us keep the lights on here, as we'll say, on the Let's Get Growing show. But again, everybody, it's really awesome to have you here with us in any capacity. But thank you so much for joining us here for our Sunday edition. And I really look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night for the Green Room. We'll see all of you then.
back of the run. See you on the flippy flops.